Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, everybody, boys and girls. Welcome back to another morning market analysis live stream. Good morning. Mr. Twins Papa, Patrick Hutchinson, Mahoney Magic. I can't say that one, but nice to see you. Bernie Miller, Sago FPV, James Lewis, El Cuervo, Moet Shama? James? Hello. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. So happy to have you guys on here. And so pretty much there were a couple interesting stocks that ended up moving yesterday. We had our eyes, I would say, on most of them. The stock Robinhood, Hood, H-O-O-D, ended up having a super significant move yesterday, all said and done. So that could be a very interesting continuation play today. So we'll make sure to cover all of that and more going into this morning. Give me 1 second. I gotta do a couple things here before we get started. Excuse me. Yeah, so BYSI was definitely a stock this morning that took off running. So if you're not already familiar, BYSI got some news about meeting their primary endpoint. Let me read the news to you. So Beyond Spring announces positive top-line results from its Dublin 3 registrational trial of a word I can't pronounce correctly in combination with Decotaxel for the treatment, blah, 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 blah. So long story short, whatever drug that they're working on has met its primary endpoint of its studies, which is generally a really good thing. So it does look like it is cancer treatment involving. All right, so it has to do with cancer, primary endpoint. Anytime you get news that has cancer treatment, primary endpoint, top results, top line data, generally stocks trade pretty well. So anyways, you can see this thing's all the way up to 46. In short, what's happened this morning is you got your first initial long move off the news. This first move was the first pullback, probably sucked in a few short sellers, and then a big old short squeeze, and then momentum really is just continuing. So right now, the stock BYSI is trading on the day at 3 to almost 4 deviations intraday. This is generally a very high risk zone to try to take a long position in. So if you're looking at the stock BYSI currently this morning and you're considering taking a position, generally speaking, when a stock gets to +3, near or maybe even above +4 on the intraday, generally there's just less profit opportunity, and or the long move generally just doesn't work as well. So we're probably getting to a price point on BYSI this morning within its current market structure that it's probably going to try to slow down a bit on its long move. Okay, but that being said, BYSI is definitely a stock to keep your eyes on throughout the day. There really isn't a whole lot more that we could touch on regarding BYSI and how it might move. And the reason being is when we take a look back at some of the longer term charts, you will come to the realization that over the past year and or the past half year, were extremely blown out of proportion. So the stock has successfully gone up. It's taken out previous price action resistance. We have trended above yearly and half-year resistance points. So we're so far blown up that it's not really logical to try to trade off this sort of chart. The only thing you can really do at this point It does have a 20-year chart, which is actually kind of impressive. Normally they don't. So this is actually a situation where you would probably work off the 20-year chart and just try to use the previous 20-year high as sort of your resistance for the time being. You'll see that we've just gotten there and we're starting to slow down. And ironically, it just so happens to be at the intraday +3 and or +4. So BYSI just got back to basically its 20-year resistance. Now, the way resistance works is typically we would reject here first, and then maybe later we would break. So probably shouldn't try to trade BYSI for a breakout right now. Should most likely be bearish, anticipating it pulls back because this is a first attempt. That's probably one of the most important rules that you could learn from me, just right off rip, is that whenever stocks are trying to break out first attempt, they normally fail. What does first attempt mean? It literally means the first time the stock gets back to a resistance. That's it. That's the first attempt. If 30 minutes from now it comes down and then back up to like the pre-market high, that would be a second attempt, which is more likely to break than the first attempt. So for right now, we will watch BYSI. The only thing you can really do is probably plan for a long trade through the pre-market high at this point, because that would also be the 20-year weekly high, or some sort of dip buy in the day, which you won't really be able to figure out until market open. Alrighty, awesome. So BYSI, I think we hammered that one out pretty well. I don't think we're really going to have to touch on that one too much more. And let me actually do something else here really quickly. In one room. You know, it's been a long time since I've really used my Weeble account, but I was trying to use it a little bit more because I really do like the platform. It's very useful because everything's kind of right there. I'm just so kind of stuck in my ways with using my my other platforms. I just haven't really dived in on this one too much. But anyways, we're gonna move that back down. All right, guys, we're going to be moving into the next thing of business here. So first, what I would like to do is we're going to be running through the overall market as we did yesterday before we continue looking at other stocks. Unless there is something that starts to run on momentum, then of course we'll bring that onto the chart and mention it and let you guys know as that is happening. Cers earnings, easy to borrow. What does intraday mean? Intraday means like right now in this day. So what happens over the course of the current trading day? And that could be in 3 hours. That could have been 20 minutes ago. That could be right now, 5 minutes from now, etc. So anything that happens within the current day is intraday. Okay? I am going to write down a few of these requests so I don't forget, because I'm not quite ready to run through them, but I am marking them down so that when the time comes, I will not have forgotten. And I'm probably going to have to speed through the requests because, well, there's just quite a lot of them. And if I give my best analysis on all of these stocks, we just always end up running out of time. All right, so we're going to start here with the market. Yesterday, I think we had suggested bearish the market. And at least it went bearish in the morning, but I really don't, or wait. Yeah, I think we had mentioned like a bearish move in the market yesterday. But I feel like we talked about support and resistance. But anyways, so I do remember yesterday I had mentioned that the 440 price was probably going to be like the resistance and the long target on the day. You will see that we ended up by the end of the day getting up to 340. So the market kind of did a bearish move yesterday, then it did a bullish move, but nonetheless, all that's really happened in the market is we pulled back the other day and we've just bounced back onto the regression trend. So the price target that I gave you yesterday of about 440 was really the regression trend on the 180-day 4-hour time frame. So at the time yesterday, the S&P 500 had a regression and or a mean price of about 440. This morning, pre-market, since we've traded and things have happened overnight, that price has changed and the regression level of the market is now priced at $440.51. Now you will see that there is interaction around there a little bit here this morning. So the only thing I'm really watching for the market right now is to see whether or not it can basically sustain over that price today. Because if the market is going to continue higher and the pattern that you're seeing on the chart is in fact going to break out, then you have to sustain over the regression level that's in the middle of that pattern, which I will highlight that trend line that I just drew in bright green, and I will increase the size to 5 so you can't miss it. So that bright green trend line in the middle, which actually looks kind of shitty because the colors of the candles are green too, so then it blends in. So we'll make this purple. So that purple line is the mean. And you will see that if we look at where the price currently is, it's slightly below that purple line. So if this sort of pennant that you're seeing forming on the S&P 500 is going to break to the upside, let's say today, then you should expect that the price would stay above that purple trend line. And if it's not, or it's kind of trading below and or multiple trading candles or sessions are closing below that purple line, and it's probably not quite ready to go above the all-time high. So in the immediate on the bull side, I would suggest you want to be staying over the purple line, which is about a price of $440.50. If you're trading below 440/50 for the day, markets are probably just going to continue to consolidate in that sort of pennant pattern. Okay. Now we're going to move over to the Nasdaq. Doesn't look like anything has really changed on the scanners too much. Okay. So if you look at the Nasdaq is very similar to that of the SPY in a sense that it's kind of consolidating to the side. Yesterday, I just removed it, but anyways, yesterday I think we gave you an upside long target as well. So we gave you sort of the downside long target and the upside target yesterday, and it's pretty much the same as a SPY. So you will see this dotted trend line that comes into play here, and it's priced at about 366.92 this morning. So currently, a price point that we should be paying attention to on the Nasdaq is priced at basically 367. So in this situation, you'd want to see the Nasdaq over 367. If it continues to trade below 367, it's probably not going to be breaking out of this consolidation formation that you're seeing taking place. So I don't really see a whole big crazy move from the market. The only thing you're really waiting for is the Nasdaq to reclaim the half deviation price. Once we reclaim that half deviation successfully, we're going to be breaking out of these tops in this consolidation. You can see too, if you look at what's happened, right? We bounced back, we stopped here, we pulled back, then we topped again, then we did this, and then the last time it stopped at a half deviation. This time we're back at a half deviation. So the reason the market keeps stopping at these tops is because every time it drops, it bounces back into the half deviation of the market. So the half deviation price is currently the breakout level of this consolidation. So right now in the day, I really still don't think there's a whole lot to do with the market. I think we're just still kind of just chopping around and trading back and forth in these consolidation points. Buying price for TKAT, I'll try to remember that. Yeah, I really wish Weeble had standard deviation as well. Maybe they will. You know, actually, I could probably talk to Weeble and they would I mean, I don't know, but I could probably talk to them and see if they would be willing or even open to the idea of building it into the system. I think that would be possible. I get emails from them all the time. Most of the time, they just want me to market for them, which is understandable. But yeah, I mean, maybe. I guess I'll shoot them a message. It couldn't hurt. Honestly, Caesar, you can use any computer you want to day trade. Literally almost any computer you can think of nowadays that's on the market is sufficient enough to trade with. What I mean by that is all computers these days, I mean, you can open up Weeble, you can pretty much open up any trading software, run one chart, and buy and sell stocks. It's not going to be an efficient approach because as you grow and as you become, you know, more of an investor and you use different softwares and maybe different services, all of that takes a load on the computer. So it really just kind of depends on what you're actually trying to do. If you're going to be watching and streaming and using different softwares, then yeah, you're going to need something that's a little bit stronger than your average laptop. I'm not a big computer whiz by any means. So I'm not the best person to ask that question. I actually had one of my buddies build my computer, so I'm not really up to date on all the graphics cards and processors and the levels that you need these days. None of that. But I will tell you, you don't need as much crazy hardware as you probably think you do. A lot of people always think you need a big setup and a crazy setup for investing and trading, which you really don't. It's only if you're going to be looking at like my stream and you're going to be running scanners and you're going to be running 4 or 5 different charts and you're going to run this broker and you got 2 different brokers. Like when you're running 10 programs all at once, then yeah, you're probably going to need a beefier computer. Okay. Yeah, cool. So still doesn't really look like too much has changed on scans this morning. Alrighty, so what we're going to do here now is we're just going to run over a couple of the stocks that people have mentioned. So the first one here is Crsr. So number 1, stock would be downtrending. Number 2, doesn't really look all that great on the long side. So I'm going to have to say bearish. There's a counter, excuse me. There's going to be a counter trend long soon, meaning it's going to bounce soon. But I don't think yet. I think it still has a down move before it bounces. But ideally, if you wanted to be long on Crsr, then you probably, at least so far, it looks like you should be buying the -1 deviation price of the market. Okay, I'm just kind of putting all these boxes here to highlight the -1 deviation bounces. Okay, so the market is known to be bouncing around, and again, at the time, there's no telling if these were -1s or -2s or means or whatnot. That's just the way it looks now. But the market, if you look now, is currently priced at about -1 deviation. So I would assume that well, that also broke formation. So you also broke down. Yeah, I would probably be just slightly long biased for a counter trend bounce, but really it's downtrending. So I don't think you really do a whole lot with that. I would say if CRSR falls all the way to 2264, then it would be good for a long reversal trade. So maybe a long reversal trade down in 2234, but otherwise I don't really think it's the best candidate. All right, next one on the list is LCID. LCID looks like a recent IPO, so not a ton of data to go off of here. Downtrending stock. Yeah, really not a whole lot of thoughts on that. It's pretty early in formation, recent IPO. Pretty much it. Lucid Group. Yeah, I really can't give you much info on that. CERS. CERS, penny stock. This is kind of interesting. A lot of volatility in that move, so it's creating attention. People's eyes are on it. All right, so we're going to start here on the 4-hour chart. All right, so if we look at the 4-hour chart, this is going to show you exactly why CRSR had resistance at $6.11 this morning. So if you were to look at your chart on a 180-day, 4-hour time frame, you will see that we have what's called a +1 deviation mark at about $6.11. Excuse me. If we look at the daily chart, we don't have a solid deviation. We had a half deviation. Okay. Let me just put this here because that's going to end up being... So this line, ready? Like right here, let me put a green arrow. This white trend line that I'm pointing these arrows at, which there's another one, but there's two of them probably. So there's going to be two white lines that I'll show you, but at least this one, okay, that white line that I'm pointing at, that is going to be the price point, almost kind of like the halfway point of the move. Or let me rephrase that, the breakout move on CERS that started after hours yesterday that went up to whatever, $6. Those green arrows, those are going to be basically the halfway point of that move. So again, the move on CERS from whatever it started at to wherever it topped at in after hours trading, that white line with the green arrows, that's going to be the halfway point, which is also what I call the shift point. If we go to the 4-hour, it's also here. So you can see we also have that white line right here. Again, that white line is going to be the shift point. So that's going to be like where the breakout starts. So that's usually going to be where the momentum picks up and the fast move happens. And ideally, that's where you want to buy. But it's almost nearly impossible to get it because it happens so fast. So for those of you that are like, how do you catch the breakout? When do the breakouts happen? How do you know before it happens? That's where it happens, okay? The breakouts don't generally happen when when we say like, oh, it's got to break resistance, and like generally speaking, that's where the breakout really happens. So where I've put those green arrows, you're going to generally see volume pick up in these areas. So we're going to change those red lines that are mapping out the white lines. We're going to change these to we're just going to change them to purple just so we know those are the ones we're talking. Actually, what am I talking about? We'll change it to white because that's what they really are. So give me a second. So we're going to change that to white, and we will change this one to white to represent the means. So this is going to be where the stock really breaks out, down at 527. So when we go look at the 1-minute chart, you will see that the mean comes into play at 527. We get this little pop, earnings, stock goes through this level, and then it just takes right off, right? And then it goes up to these red lines and stops. So basically what I'm showing you is these white lines are the breakout, and then these yellow lines up here, well, They're yellow now because I'm making them orange or yellow. These yellow lines or orange lines would be the resistance. Okay. So the way this would look is basically when we're looking at the 1 minute chart on CERS, we've done a full deviation move. Okay. So we've actually done 2 deviations. Okay. So from this orange line up to that white line, okay, from this orange to the second white line up, that would be 1 deviation. From the white line up to this red line, or this line up at the top, that would be 2 deviations, okay? So ideally, when we're looking at this chart, the stock has moved a total of like 1 deviations here, right? And the means being the breakout, orange being the resistance. So for those of you watching CERS today, ideally the stock has already hit resistance pre-market. And this happens every morning. Every morning, any stock you look at, every stock you look at, I do not care what stock you're looking at, they all do what I've shown you. Not necessarily to 1 deviation, it could be to 2, it could be to 3, it could be to 4, blah, 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 blah. But every morning, most cases, like 95% of the time, a stock goes up, hits a deviation, pre-market resistance is created. This is literally how it happens every morning. So you've hit resistance on CERS. The resistance is at 612 right now. So again, that's where that's where your breakout's at. Your breakout for the day is at this price. The reason being is because this is the only resistance you have right now in the market. On the way down, this is the breakdown price. This is the level short sellers want to get down below. If you can break this level, theoretically, you're breaking support. Most people would look at this market and say that the pre-market support is like right here, right? Somewhere in this area. Reality is that's not true. The support is down here at 565. That's really where the support is. But people tried to support it here. The problem with that is when you support a stock before it actually touches support, then it really hasn't actually touched support. And now I'm talking further. This is something you have to experience. But anyway, so the support right now of the market is actually 566. Your current resistance of the market is 601 to 610. Once you break, and if you do break out 601 to 610, the first move that the market will go for is going to be $6.40. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So in this instance, I would only look to trade CERS for a breakout from like 610s up to $6.40. If it goes higher than 640, that's awesome. But for now, I could really only suggest a move through the 610s up to 640, and then it ends up finding resistance. Yeah, I would imagine that's probably what's going to happen. All right, so that's CERS. That took a little longer than it should have, but I was having a ball with that one, so going as quick as I can here, folks. I'm sorry. Doesn't really look like too much has changed on the scanners here this morning. Really quickly, if we go and look back at the SPY, remember that purple trend line we were talking about way earlier this morning? And I was like, if in the event you can stay above this line, then that's when you could see the stock move to the upside. But if we start to close below and sell off of it, that's where the market will probably get bearish. The purple line is right there. You will see we sold down to it, broke through it, came back up, and then the market started to close below. That was specifically what I mentioned. If the market starts to have sessions closing below, meaning 1 minute candles, 5 minute candles, anything starting to close below that could suggest we'll go into more of like a pullback. So the market's done that. It's pulled back. We're not going to go too much more on that for now. Alrighty. Next one down on the list is ATHE. Now, ATHE is a penny stock that started with the long move. Remember, like 5 minutes ago, when I was trying to toot my own horn and probably look more awesome than I actually am. But nonetheless, I did say that about 95% of the time that whenever you see a stock go up pre-market, it's whenever it stops, wherever its pre-market high is normally going to be a deviation resistance. So let's see if that holds true. And you guys have to give me a little wiggle room. You got to allow me or the price targets to be off by at least 5 to 10 cents because the market is the market. And, you know, there's probably some dude in Tokyo right now railing lines of cocaine who hasn't slept all night and he's waking up in the morning to trade. So sometimes things can be a little crazy in the market and you have to be understanding that you're joining a market of tons of people and you really just don't know what's going on with everyone. So that being said, never anything totally perfect in the market. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at ATHE. So we go here, we're going to look at the 4-hour chart. Boom, found the resistance. So if you look on the 4-hour chart at this red line, and also sometimes the lines are red, sometimes the lines are green, and you might be wondering why. When the lines on the chart are red, or if you see like sometimes the lines are green, then they're red, it's because that's signifying downtrend and uptrend. So when they're green, so when the market's uptrending, the +2 mark deviation will be green. When the market's downtrending, the +2 mark will be red. Right now, the +2 mark is red. So over the past half year, theoretically, the market on ATHE is in a downtrend. So on this 4-hour chart, you will see that the +2 deviation resistance comes into play at $1.88. If we switch that time frame to a daily chart, we also have a +2 deviation mark that comes into play at about $2.01. If we go back and look at the 1-minute chart, what do you know? That's where the market topped, at +2 deviation resistance. We could keep going further about this and that and blah, 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 but it doesn't really matter. So the market on ATHE has sold off. When we go back and look at the chart, the market has mostly sold off back down to some sort of deviation. So if we go back and look at the market, on the 4-hour, doesn't really give us much, but if we look at the daily, we have a +1 deviation at 161. And the market has gone down there and slightly below. So to me, this is a sign that the stock is sort of weak because we've ran up and it's just really falling apart through all of these supports. So to me, this is a stock that is in fact a little more weak, and I'd be slightly more hesitant on trading it. Really, the only way I could suggest you want to be long on this is if the market ends up coming back up and through the 163 price. Okay. All right, there's 2 more, and then I'm going to start going through some of these comments, and we're going to shift gears just a little bit. Sofi, another stock from today. We looked at Sofi just the other day, I feel like. So Sofi has been holding basically the +1 deviation, -1. This is -1. Anyways, it's at support right now. It's been trying to hold support. I think you could still bounce this, but you need to give the market a little bit more time. It's definitely not bouncing as easy as it has in the past. So this tells me that maybe the market's a little bit more uncertain about the bottom this time, needs a little longer. You will see, though, that if you look at the relative strength index, you are getting a bullish divergence onto the stock. Basically what that means, kind of. Not entirely. A bullish divergence is where the relative strength index is trending upwards, creating higher lows, and the price of the market or the stock is trending the opposite direction. In this instance, Sofi isn't really trending down. It's really just kind of trading sideways, and the market's going up. So it's not necessarily a true divergence, but it's very similar. So in this situation, you should wait a little bit longer. You should just wait a little bit longer. That's all I can say. I think if you wait a little longer, the pattern or the picture will be more clear in the near-term future as to whether or not this is going to hold this bottom. But you do have early signs of a reversal based on the relative strength index right now. WHLR. So that moved. This is kind of interesting. So WHLR, what's the news on this? Is there any news? There's no news. Figures. Unless there is, and this hasn't updated. But I don't think that's the case. Not really. Hold on, give me a second. I'm going to drink some coffee. Yeah, that's super cold. Just delightful. Okay. This I was really excited about like 6 seconds ago, but then there was no news. So I can't give this as much strength because it doesn't have news. But this is a situation where I think you still watch the stock long bias. The reason I think you still watch the stock long bias really is just because I'm optimistic. But I'll pretty much put it this way. You will see that we're almost at the white line. Remember I told you that when stocks go through the white line, that's the shift point and big moves can happen there. So currently the stock WHLR, currently the stock WHLR, it isn't overbought, okay? Whereas if you were to look at CERS, right? If you looked at what was the one before that? Or ATHE, maybe it was. If you look at ATHE, if you looked at ATHE this morning was at +2 deviation, right? +2, +3, +4, you're getting into the overbought, right? So you can see this was overbought, ATHE. But if you go back to WHLR is on the bottom. So you're coming from the negatives. When you're on the positives, when you're on the +2s, +3s, you're overbought. When you're on the -1s, -2s, or mean, you haven't been overbought yet, which means you still have to go through the mean. So anyways, the resistance of the market right now on WHLR is $4.27. In the event you're lucky and you break the mean today, which is this red line at about 427, you will then look for a move up to the price of $4.98 to $4.98. So again, if you can get WHLR to break out the mean, so remember, you're not, right? And then also, look at where the pre-market high is. Look at where that resistance is at. Look at where the pre-market high is at. 95% of the time, you're going to wake up in the market, you're going to analyze a stock, and what you're going to come to find is that its pre-market top, and a lot of times its pre-market bottoms are going to be right off of your long-term deviations, which come from the 180-day 4-hour or the daily chart. So this morning, you're not going for a pre-market high breakout. I mean, you are, but you're not. You're actually going for a daily chart and a 180-day 4-hour regression mean breakout. It just so happens that the mean is the pre-market high. So that's what you're trying to do today on WHLR. The downside is that it doesn't have any news. So you're trading into a stock that's really just kind of moving on momentum for reasons that I have no fucking clue. So with that being said, play it at your own risk. You're looking for a regression mean breakout today on that stock. Okay, that gets me through all of the first requests. So you can see how long that takes at times because I'm really trying to give it my best effort and leave no stone unturned. All right, let's continue. Let me read some comments here. If you put a request in there, I'll write it down. If I don't get to it, I'm sorry. I guess you're just going to have to come back tomorrow and hit the like button. Alrighty. So I'm going to go down this list, answer a couple questions, put down some stonks that we haven't yet talked about. We definitely have to go over AMC because it really just wouldn't be a typical day in the market to not go over AMC. What about the Qs, boss? The Qs we went over, but really we didn't have a very strong conclusion on the Qs today. I think we're just still kind of going to ride some consolidation, kind of like yesterday, down, then up. I think we're going to be doing something similar. By the way, WHLR just spiked up to 420. It looks like it's breaking out, doesn't it? But the fact of the matter is, you still haven't gotten through resistance. It might look like you did, right? If you look left, you're like, oh, we're over the pre-market high. We're breaking out. No, you haven't, because you still didn't get through the price of 428, which is the statistical mean. So your stock doesn't really break out until you're over 428. All right, sorry, I know I'm being a little weird. Yeah, Rodrigo, and a lot of stuff in there is going to change. So just an FYI. But you get all the updates to the course, so any of the changes that I make, anything that gets added, new, taken out, you get all the updates. Yeah, you get all the updates on the course. So just an FYI. I did write down pins. I wrote down, we'll take a look at Hood in a second, but there again, you're just basically trading intraday momentum with that. If you guys could do me a quick favor and lick the like button. No, seriously, take your tongue and lick your keyboard. It's not like there's a Delta variant going around or anything like that. I'm sure you'll probably be just fine. Just lick your keyboard, make sure it clicks the like button, and we'll all be just dandy this morning. And then also, if you could, share the stream to one of those million Facebook groups that I know you're a part of. You just go ahead, share it. You'll probably get banned from the Facebook group because the admins won't like the fact that you're sharing my stream into their channel. But hey, that's okay. That's okay. Alrighty, so you're a riot, bro. I'm sure there are a lot of I'm sure there's a lot of Kokies trading right now, especially. Don't you disrespect my baby, AMC. MRIN going to pop up this week. Actually, I'm really glad you said something about MRIN because that does have potential and I forgot about it. What moving average lines are you using? Moving average lines that are currently being used are the 50 moving average and the 100 moving average on the intraday. And then I am also using 100, 200, 50, and 9 daily moving average, which are these hashed ones. So the hashed colored lines you see, those are daily sharp moving averages. The solid colorful ones you see along the price action, those are intraday moving averages. Wow, okay. Gosh, there's just so many requests. I don't know if I can keep up with myself. Hold on one second. Well, that ain't it. Cers. Okay. Yes, Kelly Parker. I am in Michigan. Absolutely. Yeah, I have a 4-unit property in Ann Arbor, Michigan, located outside of the university campus, but close enough to campus where some college kids still rent. Yes. Yes, Mr. MB. Yeah, I do explain this sort of approach in the course. Definitely have to put more in there, though. There's just not quite enough to get everybody up to where they probably need to be. Alrighty, so what we'll do now is run over AMD, pins, and MRIN. All right, so AMD, yesterday's recommendation was to watch it short around 110 and or short below 106. So it ends up running up to 110, it rejects, goes short. Later in the day, you can see it ends up breaking that point, and then it runs into a big move. So AMD still bullish. And again, this was something that we talked about yesterday too. I'm like, the stock still looks strong. So something to take note of. This is when a stock is stronger than normal. Whenever you see a stair-step fashion, so this is what you want to look for, stair-stepping. Whenever a stock goes up, goes basically sideways up. Then it basically just goes sideways up, sideways up, sideways up again. When it's doing that, the stock is stronger, and it's generally going to take longer for it to end up retracing and coming down and so on and so forth. But AMD has reached over +4 now, so again, you're still very close to a sell-off. I mean, this looks very strong. Don't get me wrong. This is strong, but people buying around this 112 price have a very good chance of going red in the future, because just a normal pullback in the market would probably come back down to 105 right now. Okay. So I still plan on collecting doors around the lake that I live in. Again, I'm still in my homestead property, so this is still where I'm at. So only got one house around the lake, which is the house I currently live in, which is fine. Everyone's got their own path, and it takes everyone a certain amount of time to do things. But yes, I still have the home around the lake. I still plan on picking up some more. Obviously, prices are inflated, so it's not as easy. But yes, do plan on picking up rental properties, continue to, around the lake that I live on. Okay. All right, folks. Now we're going to be moving on over to AM McSizzle. Nothing like a good old AM McSizzle. Alrighty, so folks, if we take a look here at AMD this morning, it's bouncing. You will know, if you followed the stream yesterday, we recommended that the market would go bearish on AMD down into these two red lines, and then it would try to bounce. We tried to bounce. It was still too weak. We ended up dropping below. You will then see that this bottom red line acted as a resistance. We dropped below that today. The market's bouncing back to it. So the objective of today on AMC, when the market sold off down to 332.25, it would appear that this is the market getting ahead of itself, trying to break AMC down, and now short sellers and market makers are moving the stock back up, And the objective was, number one, to get back to this red line. Number two would be to get up to this red line. So it does look like the market's trying to retrace. And I think you watch AMC long today. I think you should be AMC long right now with a minimum long target. So I think you're long AMC today with a minimum target back to, well, for one, the minimum has been met, really. But I think you're going for 34.60. I do believe that the AMC market was meant to sell down to about 33.57. The move down to 32.25 is the market getting ahead of itself. And I believe we're supposed to bounce this morning and go back up towards 34.60. This is something that we mentioned just yesterday. We had said that we did not believe the market was going to break this low yesterday, because for the market to break that low yesterday would be a first attempt of the market trying to break that low since the low has been put in. This move down was a first attempt of breaking the mean. We bounced. This would be a second attempt of breaking the mean, sort of a first attempt of breaking that price action bottom. Normally, that's going to hold up and give you a little mini double bottom bounce, which is most likely what we're currently seeing with AMC. That is why I'm still suggesting that you watch the market long bias on AMC. Now, for AMC to get up to that 34.60 price that we did suggest, basically one thing has to happen. You have to get back over the price of 33.69. You see that little dotted trend line in there? That is the half deviation price point. That is the current resistance of the market. That is why, or that's pretty much what you're looking to get back up and over. You're looking to get through 33.68 to run the markets more up to 34.40, 34.60 AMC. You live where my aunt lives. You guys are neighbors. Very nice. Alrighty, let's take a look at MRIN before I forget. So MRIN's one that, yeah, I think it can have a good bounce, but it's still not there yet. I mean, you can see every time we bounce, it just gets crushed back down. We tried to bounce the mean recently. We got crushed back down. So I think you still are just kind of sitting, maybe waiting. But you're not wrong for considering it to be more of a bounce now. I do see that we've gone down to the mean on the daily chart and basically the 4 hour. So you are kind of at a bounce level. So yeah, I think you watch MRIN to form up into a long over the next couple days. And if it doesn't, then it'll probably continue lower. So I think there is hope for like maybe the next week and a half that a long play forms up in MRIN. And if it doesn't by then, you'll probably end up going a little lower. But yeah, I think it's worth probably keeping an eye on MRIN. Slightly long bias at these prices. Yeah, XELA. We will touch on. That's a good one to talk about. This was something that we mentioned yesterday. You should watch on the long side. I think it continued up after hours a little higher than our long targets. But if you tuned in yesterday, we recommended that you should have watched pretty much the long target yesterday for XELA was this green box. So we said that this is where you should try to trade XELA up to yesterday and nothing higher. And the reason we said nothing higher is because with the way the market was set up, we really just didn't anticipate that yesterday it would go higher than this green box. And it really didn't during yesterday's trading session. It ended up getting higher than that in the after hours trading session and into this morning pre-market. What you'll find that's interesting, right? What you're going to find that's interesting. Remember how I said 95% of this time, pre-market, the stocks are going to run to a deviation and hit resistance, or they're going to bounce off deviation support? Well, again, if we... Okay, so this green box, right? Looking at this green box, we know that that was the deviation resistance target that we mentioned yesterday. If we look at where the stock's at this morning, hold on. Look at where the stock is bouncing this morning. Up, down to the green box and bounce. So yesterday's price targets were the +1 deviation mark. We go to there, we see resistance after hours, it breaks out. This morning, we retrace back down to the +1 deviation, now support, because yesterday we broke over. So yesterday, +1 deviation's resistance. This morning, it's support. And that's how that whole concept of when resistance breaks, it then becomes support. And when support breaks, then it becomes resistance. And that is like a picture-perfect key example. So this morning, if you wanted to be long XELA, you should have been dip buying here at about 329. And that's pretty much all I have for you right now. Kind of. I mean... yeah, so as long as XELA stays above the prices that we pretty much just talked about, 330s, 329s, yeah, that still has a good opportunity. So basically, yeah, I think you stay on the long side of XELA, and at this point, if we're going for a successful breakout, I think you're going to be targeting back up to about 4. So again, I think XELA might make it up to about $4. It still has some work to do before it does that, but it does have a high short float interest. A lot of people are starting to talk about it, and it might be enough to get this puppy back into the $4 price. Holy smokes, we almost crossed 400 viewers there. For like a split second, we were so close. So I appreciate you all tuning in. The only thing I ask is that you hit the like button for me. It dramatically helps the stream. At least it's supposed to. So thumbs up to that. What's the play for BYSI in my opinion? I think you're probably going to want to watch BYSI on a 5-minute chart today. Sorry. My wisdom teeth. So remember how we had mentioned that this was probably going to be the resistance point. And anyways, it's sold off. Right now, BYSI does not have long-term support until $18. So I can't really say... I mean, I could tell you, hey, I will tell you right now, if BYSI goes to $18, you buy the bounce at 18. It's a guaranteed win. But I can tell you right now, the likelihood that happens is pretty much 0. So you have a highly profitable trade, almost a guaranteed win at 18.19, but you're probably not going to get there today. So the next thing that I would suggest is you're probably going to look for a -1 deviation bounce. And even that's really far, and I don't quite think it's going to get there right now. So the best bet is really to watch a 1 and a 5-minute chart to hopefully come to the conclusion that you've decided that you're going to get a 5-minute or a 1-minute candle break in a specific direction that's going to cause volatility that you can profit off of for right now. I think you're supposed to watch this bearish pretty much going into the open until short sellers are confused and get squeezed. I think the play on this would be a short squeeze. If it's going to continue moving upwards, it has to be a short squeeze. So you're looking for short squeeze formations. A short squeeze formation would come it would come based on people trying to take the stock down and getting caught. So you'd look at like a 1 minute and a 5 minute for price action consolidation that confuses bearish traders and takes them out to the upside. I don't think you're going to see BYSI retrace down far enough to hit long-term support. I don't think you're going to see it retrace down far enough to hit intraday standard deviation support, at least for now, or within a relatively soon enough time frame that it makes sense for me to talk about it. So therefore, the only logical thing I could come up with is that it's a very overbought stock. There's a lot of good news. There's going to be people that try to bet bearish. Since we're so overbought, the only thing that could really keep the momentum going is probably going to be squeezing out short sellers. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is by creating some sort of consolidation that shorts are unsuccessful at breaking down, that the bulls end up squeezing them out. So where and how that's all going to happen, I really have no idea. That's why I'm basically telling you just have to watch price action at this point on that. Yeah. And then I'm not going to say look for a pre-market high breakout, because if you're looking for a pre-market high breakout, the stock's at 33 bucks. The pre-market high is basically 43, which means you'll miss $10 a share waiting for it, right? So if you're waiting for a pre-market high breakout and it gets there, you'd lose $10 a share on the stock by the time it even gets there. So all about watching price action today on BYSI, I think. It's interesting that you don't weigh the news on BYSI. No, I did weigh the news on BYSI. I said it's really good news. But given how high it is, more people are attracted to trying to bet it bearish. Now, I don't think you should short it because the good entry short was clearly up here. You've already sold off quite a bit. So the only way it really continues lower is if this thing is really just a piece of shit and it's really meant to go lower. Otherwise, it will probably attempt to go lower. That's where long bias traders come in and try to force the shorts out. So I'm assuming there's going to be an attempt at a bearish move, maybe to start the day. But overall, I would probably be more on the long side of the stock, which would be after short sellers try to take it down. And the reason I say that is because I've been plenty of times the short seller trying to take it down and getting squeezed. So I generally do not short stocks going into the open if they're drastically sold off from the pre-market high, for the most part. There's a couple situations where I would, but I'd have to be super confident it's an absolute dog and it's going down. D. James, no, not trading live, just basically doing live analysis for everyone. We still have a live trading room that we offer that's only in our elites program. We ended our premium session, so I was able to be on YouTube more and just basically do live analysis for everyone going forward. I do some trades here and there. It's not like I'm not. But we still have a live trading room that's run through the elites program, which is Brandon, who is actually better than I am in regards to technical analysis, I believe. So you can even learn more from him than you probably can me to a degree. So we still have a live trading room and whatnot, but just here on YouTube, we're just making sure we do probably try to do as in-depth live analysis for everyone that's trying to invest through the market for the day. AMD had $114 again. All right, I'm going to take a quick look at Pinterest here just because it's of the recommendations and being asked devs. I think just yesterday we recommended that Pinterest was a long. We said that Pinterest is a long from the price of 57 to 52. So yesterday we recommended being long Pinterest. Today it kind of looks like that long might continue. Okay, so if you look at, we came down to support. This was support. We held it really well yesterday. Very solid bullish day back up. And you're basically starting to cross through, like, you know, some of these consolidation tops, if you may. Yeah, so I'm kind of optimistically bullish on Pinterest here. I think you could watch it long. I mean, you still, you know, I think in the event there was it reverses really strong. I think your long target's 63. So in the immediate, off of the formation, the current market setup, I would be long bias immediately trying to target up to 63.25. Yeah, so for any of you guys in the chat too, I highly suggest, those are still looking to up their game in trading to check out the Elites room. Elites program. It includes live trading, course material, multiple classes a week. Brain fart. And a lot of options mentoring. And a lot of options trade alerts. So I mean, it's pretty much a full around service. So that's again part of the reason why we ended up ending the premium service, keeping Elites, is because it was a lot to manage. But I do like being here, and it makes sense to be here and working with you guys. So anyways, we still offer really great service. I highly suggest some of you guys check that out if you're interested in upping your game. It's definitely going to be a big step for you. Can you smoke weed and do it? Of course you can smoke weed and do it. You can do whatever you want. It's a free country, right? And it just became sort of legal, kind of legal. The feds still haven't, made it legal. That's a discussion we should just not even have. We don't want to open up the discussion of that, because then it's just gonna tickle me incorrectly, tickle me the wrong way, and we're just not gonna do that one. So yes, Brandon does use standard deviation. So this is why I always say I believe, and I'm okay saying it, there's nothing wrong with it, I believe Brandon is a better trader than me. And the reason I say that is because, and what I'm going to say isn't entirely correct, but it's the only way that I can kind of summarize it that people would understand quickly, which is that if I could explain this, it would be Brandon does use standard deviation, right? So I wouldn't know how to chart any of this if it wasn't done for me. Brandon's technical analysis and goes back so far to the point where he can kind of do, long story short, he can basically do standard deviation on his own without even having it on his chart. And he doesn't, and I'm not saying it's exact, but the levels that I would normally look to trade off of on standard deviation tend to be almost the exact same levels that he would trade off, but he's finding them manually. So something that I need a computer to do for me, he's been able to do on his own, and that was before I was even using standard deviation. Now I will say that his analysis isn't exactly the same as standard deviation, but it does coincidentally line up uniquely similar to the point where I feel comfortable enough just saying that his own technical analysis that good to the point where he finds it on his own. So I couldn't say if it's for sure that, but again, it's so similar, so close that I feel comfortable saying it like that. So again, he's a part of my team. I have ton of respect for him, mad love for him. So again, I feel comfortable saying he is equally, if not better than I am. So with that being said, that's our Elites program. Which also, by the way, we've been shifting a lot of things around as things kind of cool down. I will also be doing 2 mentoring classes to the Elites room during the week. So you'd get 2 classes with me, you'd get 2 classes with Brandon, and you'd get 2 classes with Dave. So you get my analysis and things, you get Brandon's, and you still get Dave's as well. So that's just another thought, but we're not quite there yet. Soon. Okay, what time is it? It is 9. Oh, smokes. Sorry, guys. I needed to start up a meeting a little bit ago, but I totally forgot. Sorry, Brandon. I'm talking about you. I'm coming. 439 viewers. Thank you guys very much. That's the highest viewer count that I've had all week, and probably on our streams over the past, like, maybe month or so. So I appreciate that. Thanks, guys. All right. All right, sorry about that. A lot of things moving. Yes. Do I work outside of trading? Yes and no. I have a 4-unit rental property, so I make income that way. I used to do a little car rental service that I think I'm going to get back into, so I might own a small car rental fleet service again. But I needed to work on a better location, which I think I might have secured now. So that's another thing I will do. Also, possibly getting into the private airplane industry and renting out private airplanes. So that's another one. So there's a couple things in the air that I'm working on right now that'll probably generate me new incomes. But other than trading, YouTube. So trading, YouTube, affiliate marketing, rental properties, and obviously just random investment income. Those are my main streams of income. I used to do a car rental sort of thing and make money that way. Ended that because location wasn't good enough. Probably going to restart that now that my location's good enough. And then if I get into the jet/airplane industry, that will be 8, 9. So then I'll have 9 sort of forms of income. There's other things that I'm working on too, but that's pretty much the gist of it. Trading, YouTube, affiliate marketing, rental income, car rentals, airplane rentals, potentially soon to be. So that's another thing too, is I'm not like, I don't have to trade, right? I'm not forced to trade to try to make money. And that's a really good thing to always understand. And hopefully be in the same situation, as you don't want to rely on trading for an income. I know that's kind of backwards. A lot of people are like, oh, you want to get away from your job, so you trade. But more or less, my experience is that trading is extremely risky. It takes a lot of capital. It's hard to learn. There's a lot of ups and a lot of downswings. So not having the additional pressure to say, I have to do this and I have to be able to make money in X amount of dollars, makes it a lot easier, because I know that if I wake up and I don't click any buttons on my computer, I'm still getting a paycheck. And then that relieves a lot of pressure because you're not forced to make investments and things like that. So I take the different approach when it comes to anything high, basically trading wise, day trading, high investment trading like that, is that should just be like a small portion of your investment approach. So whereas most people on the internet advertise that, look at my BMW from day trading, or you quit your job and you live on a beach and day trade. For some, that might be the reality. For most, it's never going to be. And so the reality for me is that day trading is a small portion of an investment strategy. And so you don't take all of your money and day trade with it. You just take a small portion of your money to make high risk investment decisions, which is just a small portion of a gigantic pyramid of investing, right? So you have maybe 401ks, Roth IRAs, long-term investment accounts, which are your home could be one, your asset like a home, even though it's really a liability unless somebody else is paying for it, but we don't have to go into the rich dad, poor dad, Dave Ramsey discussion this morning. Unless you guys want to, we can. So yeah, you have your home, that's a foundation. You have your 401k, that's a foundation. A Roth IRA, that's a foundation. Anything like that is a foundational point of your investment approach. And then as you get to the top, you're going to find that the pyramid gets a little smaller at the top, right? And that smaller top on the top of your pyramid, that is your day trading capital. So that's your speculative investing capital right at the top. So again, really, let me just draw it on the screen, I guess, for you guys. So this is basically my whole approach when it comes to investing. It's very simple. And as long as you follow this, you should pretty much be fine. Let me just change these, and I'm gonna make them all a little bit bigger. Come on, you little bit. All right, so you can basically think of your whole life investing approach as this little triangle. You know, down in this bottom, right, this is going to be like the foundation, and this is where you're going to have a 401k, Roth IRA, etc. You know, maybe down there. Okay. Then in the middle here, this could be like a house / like your job, right? And then this up here would be like speculative investing / day trading, maybe even add swing trading up there, okay? Which that obviously is too big, so we gotta change that around. Okay, so that's where we'll put that guy. All right, and so really the whole concept of this is that you don't want your pyramid to be upside down like that, right? So you don't want your pyramid to look like that and have your speculative investing on the top so big that if that falls apart, it crushes your pyramid. That's the concept. As anything day trading, swing trading, really highly speculative investing, you should make sure that you're doing it in a manner that's not going to crush you foundationally and blow up your whole life, right? It's okay if you blow up and you lose money, that's fine, but you don't want to take this speculative trading and investing into the market and have it blow up your pyramid of life. So as long as your foundation's strong, you have an investment account, they're well padded, you have a house, maybe good paying job, things that are safe and sound, then you can take a little bit and you can go for high risk speculative investing that can create significantly fast returns. When you do that, the top of your pyramid grows a little bit. So your 10% of speculative investing maybe grows to like 15%. Then you take a little bit of that, you slide it down to the bottom. Your base becomes bigger. Then your top becomes bigger. You slide down to your base, and then overall your pyramid just grows and grows and grows. And that 10% that you were speculating with 10 years ago that was 1,000, you're now speculating with 10 years forward is now 50,000. And that base foundation that you had of 100,000 is now 400,000. And the list just goes on. And that's basically the approach that I take when it comes to investing. So when it comes to affiliate marketing, generally anything related to the stock market is always going to be the easiest for me to generate an income through. So that'll be like links in the description. But yeah, anyways. So mostly affiliate marketing is anything that has stock market related, but I don't affiliate market for any product that I haven't actually used or don't think's actually good. I've had 20 bajillion sponsorship requests to do things, and I pretty much deny every one of them because I never feel comfortable advertising a product or a service just for a pay cut that I don't actually use. So yeah, if I showed you the amount of email requests and sponsorships that I get to promote different brokers and foreign exchange, currency markets and cryptocurrency, this and that, you'd be mind blown. But yeah. Okay. So that was a good chat. We're about 9:30. I'm just reading a couple things here. Yeah, so I do make okay money from day trading. I don't make enough money from day trading to be extremely rich by any means. Last year I cleared 160,000 trading. And then I had some fees in there, so it was really like 135,000. So like last year was a phenomenal year for me trading. So yeah, last year I cleared 135,000. That was between TD Ameritrade, Lightspeed, Robinhood, Weeble. I think that was all the ones I traded in. Lightspeed, TD Ameritrade, Weeble. And I can show you the statements. I have them if you guys really care to see them. But yeah, so like last year was good, but that's not going to guarantee that this year will be better than last year. The year prior to that wasn't as good. Same thing with the year prior to that. So I do okay. But that's exactly why I was explaining that pyramid. You know, I am going to fall into the category of people investing that I don't really think that I'll ever crank it to the millions a year from trading. I've just been doing this long enough, and I don't think I see myself getting to that point. And so I think I fall into the average mix of investors as opposed to maybe the exception. So that's why I try to emphasize the whole pyramid, the structure. It's a safer, sounder approach, if that makes sense. So again, it's like, oh yeah, last year I netted like 160 after all the fees and things, and that it drops to like 130, maybe 140. You know, that sounds good, but that doesn't guarantee that I'm going to be able to do it for the next 10, 15 years every single time, right? So that's why I want to make sure that I have additional income that comes from outside the market as well. Yeah, so Maria, I do understand the overhead. So we had first initially looked at, sorry, I'm going off topic. I don't want to go off topic. But yeah, I do understand that. We've looked at light jets. We've looked at single engine props because of the cost and maintenance that would cut into margin. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm just trying to go through a couple things. Actually, it doesn't look too bad. Yes, somebody did say something about NVAX. I think it also came up on the scanner. Occasionally, if anybody's asking a question about Brandon trading penny stocks, occasionally he does. And also, Brandon will be joining us on stream here and there a couple times, but we're just not quite there. But anyways, that will happen. Discord channel link will be in the description below. That's too funny. Wow, Wyatt Dodd. That's actually kind of good. Sorry, I'm just reading questions. Yeah, how does an airplane rental work? Basically, you buy an airplane, and there's other rich people that want to fly around your airplane, and you basically just let them come and pay to use your airplane, and pilots fly them around. Pilots get a cut. People who do the work on the airplane get a cut. People who organize the logistics of the flight get a cut, and that's pretty much how that works. So Rodrigo, this is a good question. How did I get capital to start my business? So I actually started multiple businesses growing up. I used to paint cars, fix cars. I also handmade and created soap for a while, and I did these small little jewelry pieces, and basically I did all of that while working full-time jobs. Bought and resold cars, and basically just saved money, invested into Roth IRAs and 401ks, and saved a little money and started investing and trading. So basically through investing, working, starting small various businesses as I was growing up for the most part. CJ Vegas, I pretty much worked full-time and was an entrepreneur the whole time I was growing up. I guess I answered that before I actually looked at your comment. So yes, Ulrich Valleys, that is exactly what you would be doing, is renting them through Turo, which when I get to, I'll probably post videos about too. Why do you keep calling me? You don't need to talk to me. You're pointless. All right. So let's take a peek over here at WHLR really quickly. I'm going to go back to full screen. WHLR still kind of sitting on some resistance. Time segmented volume indicator. No, not that I'm aware of. Melissa, yeah, I think it's probably wiser to consider anything sort of day trading more as a secondary income as opposed to primary. That would be a better approach for most people. It's not a flashy selling point. I know it doesn't sound as cool, but it's just, you know, the day trading industry really has a knack for marketing in a way that's just not accurate. So, and I've always tried to avoid doing that, which I have pretty good. Never really use flashy stuff to try to sell courses or products or things like that. I don't intend to. So yeah, it's just not, I just don't, I think it's completely backwards way of marketing for the industry. And I'm trying to change that a little bit, as you can see. Okay, well, I'm going to get up pins over here. Going to keep Pinterest on the right. Pinterest is looking pretty decent. Mr. Montero, I see your messages. Oh yeah, I did read that. You label the mean on the 4 on the daily and look at the smaller time frame and the microscope in the direction is. Yes, exactly. That's pretty much, you nailed it. Yeah, it's either a multi-day or a one-day hold, I would believe. I do think that there's going to be a long move on pins, and it's debatable whether or not the price target is reached today or if it gets met like by tomorrow. That's more or less, I think, the question of debate right now. Also, by the way, for the 376 of you guys tuning in, don't forget that we run Benzinga and Trade Idea scanners to YouTube every single day. These are pretty much going to find you every single stock that's moving throughout the market throughout the day. Trading Clips YouTube channel. ATHE, first thing to kind of come across the scanner this morning. Okay, so that broke up that slight resistance. Well, it looks like WHLR pulling back a little bit. Oh, excuse me. BYSI, absolute shitbag. And it looks like BYSI is currently halted on the way down. Pinterest moving pretty swell there. Remember that I think our price target for Pinterest was... Where was it? Yeah, I think our long target for Pinterest was back up to like maybe 63 bucks or so, somewhere in that area. I mean, really 63 to 66. 66.50 would be awesome, but I think you should really only project for 63 to start. WHLR hit the scanner. Hood is up to 62.50. WHLR tried. Little spike move there and down. Pin still moving up. WHLR, yeah, big kind of pullback there. Crew, there isn't a contact number for elites, but if you do go through the elites program, all you have to do is go into the elites course section. And you should be able to get into the Zoom meeting just fine. Again, if you go to boilerroomtrading.com, access the Elites Trading course curriculum. One of the first sections in that course curriculum is going to be the live trading room or large cap trading room. From there, you just go in there, click Zoom, and then the meeting should start for you. Little pins struggling. Starts with an up move, but just not enough. At least so far to keep running. Yeah, crew, it's definitely Zoom. Like, that's what I mean. You got to go through that curriculum a little bit, and you'll start to it'll start to come together a little more for you. Daniel, so the stream or the daily meeting in the elites is going to be, it will take place through Zoom every time. Only thing I'm really seeing come across the scanner is Hood. Wow. Okay, so that's halted to the moon. That's awesome. Good stuff. MRN going straight to hell. Yeah, that does kind of look that way, doesn't it? So yeah, just kind of watching this WHLR here. Still think it's going to kind of continue lower. Yeah, BTBT was something that we looked at yesterday. Yeah, BTBT still moving good, still moving strong. It's a little overbought intraday here, so it's probably closer to pulling back, I would imagine. Unless it's really breaking those previous highs, then that would make sense. Yeah, but you can't really anticipate a break like that. I don't think so. Nope, we did not cover X. Looking at this SPCE really quickly because someone asked. Give me a second. SPCE consolidating in a bottom. So ideally you're trying to get SPCE to break out of that bottom is what's going on. Yeah, I think you could be on the long side of SPCE. We recommended SPCE as a long just the other day. I think it was yesterday maybe. It didn't go long yesterday, but we're still expecting it's trying to get back up towards prices of like 34 bucks. WHLR starting to sell down as we mentioned. We kind of thought that's probably what was going to happen. Moving over to ATHE. So ATHE ended up coming back up. Stuck at a half deviation there. Yeah, if ATHE can get up and through the price of 176, it's probably a long play, and you would look to get ATHE probably up to 190. Yeah, I do believe ATHE can jump. I think you got to get it through the $1.75 price. Yeah, maybe through the $1.75 and jump towards $1.90-ish. This is also kind of like the first attempt of getting through $1.70, so it might struggle for a second before it actually goes through. So that's the second attempt of breaking 175. So far, the market is double topping at 175 and rejecting for the time being. The 175 is also a half deviation price point. So it's not a full deviation, it's just a half, which a lot of times can be a little bit easier to break. But we'll see. You know, time will tell. BYSI. Oh, also, so if you look at BYSI, it's bouncing right around the -1 deviation price. This is where we suggested you'd look for an intraday bounce to start, was at -1 intraday. So it had to sell off in the morning to get there first. So it looks like it's halted. Is this halted? No, now it is. Yeah, it just got halted. Yeah, so when you said long, yeah, I mean, slightly late to it, but yeah, it's on the long move. There goes ATHE through the $1.75 price. BYSI back to highs. I mean, I have no idea. I wouldn't be planning for back to highs. I mean, that has happened in the past where things do go back to highs, but no, I mean, it's so far away from where the current price is that it's not something I would typically look for. ATHE, as mentioned, still wasn't able to get through the $1.75 high. Doesn't mean that it won't, but it's still basically trying to. WHLR. Oh wow, super lucky. Yeah, WHLR, that's a long play, but although it's halted right now, so you're not going to really be able to do anything. So, yeah, shorts are getting squeezed out of WHLR. That would have been nice to get in on that. So that will continue up. The question is where. I mean, it really would be dumb if it stopped at a half deviation, because then it's not going to be worth a trade. So the only way WHLR makes sense to trade is if it doesn't end up being overbought, $4.99. So pretty much the max long target for me right now on this WHLR move is up to $5. So max right now, there's about 50 cents potential profit. WHLR. Looks like the open price right now is still $4.48. But yeah, like I was saying, $5.50 for me right now, max target WHLR. So it looks like BYSI unhalted, and you can see it's already dropped back down. CERS looks like it's breaking out. So I think CERS is the one that we said you'd watch up to like 640 on the long side. Yeah, so I don't think you're looking for anything over 640 on CERS for the time being. Yeah, ATHE is back over the 175, so ideally it's broken over 175. It's just a matter of does the market support over 175 here to hopefully push the move on ATHE back to the pre-market high of 190. So we'll see. It's still battling 175. WHLR just hit 458. So WHLR is still hanging out. Like I was saying, I think if that gets through the 460s area, you can maybe, again, look for a move up towards like 5. ATHE just broke through the previous high in the day. But they're still not really allowing that thing to really run. Unfortunately, that is. Kathy Woods is pumping hood. I mean, I can see it, yeah. WHLR still sitting, not really able to make a move. Yeah, WHLR just looks to be like a very challenging trader for the time being. CERS, I still think like the max target was supposed to be up to about 640 for right now. ATHE again failed that like previous high. We're still back under that like 175 area, so ATHE's got to get back up through 175 and actually holding above 175 to suggest that the market's finally ready to move higher. Pins still good to 63. Upside long targets for me right now on pins would still be 63 to 66 bucks. The long target, or sorry, long entry points for pins would still be, let's see. So long entries for pins are still the price of like 57. Damn it. I forgot what I said the last time. Yeah, 57 to 52 are still the long targets or long entries. 63 to 66 are still the selling points for me, for now at least, with the way the market's situated, yes. ATHE still sitting at $1.74, basically being a turd, not getting or going higher for the time being. Just an FYI. EXPI worked pretty well. Ooh, Sofi, good move, good move. Kathy Woods for the win. Let's go, Kathy. ATHE, like I said, still not fair. Still failing to get over your 175.76 mark. So that's not good for ATHE. Again, you need it to be over the 175 for it to really work. ATHE held that pullback. It's back retesting 174-ish, 175. ACY also hit the scanner. Just thought you might want to take a look at it. BTBT hit a high of 1160. Again, it's in an overbought location on the intraday. That's why you're seeing pullbacks. As we mentioned just the other day, I think the target for BTBT alongside would be about 13 bucks. Yeah, WHLR, really back and forth there. ATHE is back up at 176. Do we actually go higher here, or does the market continue to be dumb right at 175, 176? Does look like ATHE is going to break out, but we'll see. It's been a choppy, dumb turd this whole day, so we'll see if it actually finally breaks highs and trends towards $1.90. Again, it's not a big move. We've just been watching it all morning, seeing if it would actually move towards that $1.90. Or if it would end up holding the half deviation resistance all day. XELA, I'll take a little quick look. All right, so XELA selling all the way down. Yeah, I could see maybe XELA trying to bounce there. I'm giving it a second. I gotta take a peek at this again. All right, so XELA, it actually already broke the support. So earlier we mentioned that was support. I think it might have broke it now. Let me just double check. No, we're right on it right now, actually. So XELA... this could very well be that dip by price on the day. There goes, what's it called, ATHE up a little bit more. But ideally, XELA is on its bounce point here, possibly. So, might be watching this for a reversal long. So there goes XELA starting to bounce. Yeah, there is an up move from XELA. So I'm not sure if you guys noticed that with XELA though. So if we look at XELA here on this screen, you will see that this bottom price at 323. Watch this, ready? So we're gonna put XELA on the screen on the right really quickly. All right, so if you guys have a second to analyze this one with me, this is a really great example. Sorry I haven't been too up and cheerful and chippy this last little bit. I've been trying to scan the market and look for setups and things that make sense. So I haven't been speaking as much. But if you look at XELA, this is a perfect example of how you catch a little bit of like a reversal bounce on the day and know exactly where it's going to start. So remember just a second ago I said we should be watching and be looking at XELA long on this bottom. All right, I'm going to delete all these old drawings, okay? And then after I get done with this example, make sure you share the stream with your grandma. She's been missing me lately, so just make sure you give her a holler for me. Tell her I'll be by for bingo night. All right. So if you look at the screen on the right, you can see that the bottom of this current daily candle with XELA is direction. We're gonna make that one. We're gonna turn it left. All right, so you can see the bottom of today's candle on XELA is at the +1 deviation mark, right? That trend line, okay? So I just personally put a little price level over it so that I know what it looks like on the 1 minute. So on the 1 minute chart, this is where, come on, Connor, get your shit together, bud. So this is where the +1 deviation mark. Okay, so that's a +1 deviation mark. I just took a little bounce trade here, by the way. I just traded that long. I'm already out of that trade, by the way. But that was a long entry into this candle and sell on the way up. But that bounce move is, you can predict where that's going to start by looking at that deviation mark. Is that straightforward? Does everybody understand what I just did there, or what I was explaining? Because every time I explain it, I try to make it as detailed as possible so you kind of get what I'm saying. But is everybody clear on that? Does that make sense? I'm literally waiting for someone to say yes or no. Just an FYI. Not really. How does that not make sense? What you mean? How can I better explain that? Yeah, I guess I don't know how to better explain that. But that's it. Doesn't make sense. Okay, so let me explain it like this. All right, so we'll do it like this. Okay, we're gonna zoom out on the screen on the right. Zoom out, computer. Oh, because I have to do that first. Come on, Thinkorswim, let's go. All right, so looking at the screen on the right, let's just say that on this time frame, all of these diagonal lines you see on my screen are the actual true resistance and support of the market. Forget about the way the chart looks and the price is here and it bottomed here. Forget all of that. You are coming to this channel, and what I'm telling you is that all of those diagonal trend lines that you see on the screen, those are the actual true support and resistances on the day. So if the concept for support and resistance is like so, which is true, that is, if this is support, okay, and the stock bounces off support multiple times, blah, blah, blah. I'm going as fast as I can. Thinkorswim's piece of shit, so you know how it goes. So the concept is eventually when a stock breaks a support level, or, excuse me, when a stock goes through a resistance and then it pulls back down to it, it becomes a support, right? We know that. All right. So if we look at XELA today, all right, the way that we would appear, the way that this would appear is, holy shit, come on, Thinkorswim. Again, this is what happens to Thinkorswim later in the day. I got so much shit going on my chart, so many charts running, it just runs like shit. Alrighty, so pretty much the best way I can explain this is this line you see here, this was resistance yesterday, okay? Then this line I'm gonna put on the chart here in about a second. This was resistance yesterday, which was also the price target that we told you to go for, which it also hit. Okay? So those two red lines I put on my chart, that was resistance yesterday. When stocks break resistance, that old resistance now becomes the support. Yesterday, if we look at this on like a 5-day chart, yesterday, these two red lines were resistance. Pre-market, we said you target the red line. We broke the red line. Resistance has been broken. Today, the market comes back down into those red lines. That is the market retesting the resistance / breakout. That is now support. The true support for the market has nothing to do, but the true support of the market does not, or let me rephrase this. You don't come to find the true support of the market typically by looking left at the chart and looking at price action. You typically find true support by working off of standard deviation. The standard deviation for the stock XELA was priced at $3.24 just 5 minutes ago. That is pretty much where the market bounced today. That is probably the best way I can explain that. Is everybody clear on that now? Yep, bounce play off one standard deviation. Could you explain testing of the lines? When to know, when to go? No, I can't. You're just going to have to figure that out through years of trading and experience. That's the only way you're going to get better at that. There's really no other way to say it. I could tell you to look for this candle going over that candle, but again, you're just not going to figure that one out until you just witness it and do it a bunch of times. Sorry to say. I'm just saving me some breath and you some heartache. I appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning in here with me this morning. All right, so ACY came on the scanner here just a little bit ago. So I mentioned this a long time ago, but I'm only now kind of getting over and looking at it. So it looks like there was a breakout play. I can guarantee you that look at where the stock went up. You see these two red lines? That means that this probably broke over a standard deviation, and that's why it's running. Not quite, kind of. Oh, yeah, it did. Never mind. All right, we're right. Yes, it did. So again, if you look at the chart on ACY, which by the way, we should probably consider that this is a selling move now-ish. Hold on. Come on, Thinkorswim, work with me. Go faster, go faster. Stop, I already changed it to the drawing tool. God damn it. Yes, but I was basically trying to do my analysis, still trying to do, holy shit, you literally suck, Thinkorswim. Jeez. Thank you. Finally. Ugh. Yeah, so ACY. Remember how we talked about earlier the big moves happen through the mean? You can see we just broke the mean down here. Long story short, we just broke +2 deviation on the long term. I would say your max target for this is up to 25 to 25, and anything higher should probably be a seller on ACY. Wouldn't be surprised if it goes higher than 25, but once you get up to 25 and higher, it's not logical to buy it. So anyways, ACY lower volume, I do think that continues higher for the day. If it gets up to 25 bucks, it's probably going to be a very low risk area to consider selling the stock down. BCTX is moving. So I have Benzinga Pro. Brad, actually, believe it or not, if you just tune on over to our secondary YouTube channel called Trading Clips, you will have free Benzinga Pro and Trade Idea scanners every single day throughout the week. All the scanners on that screen and on that stream will pretty much find you any stock that's moving within the stock market, no questions asked. So again, free scanner all day, every day for the 316 of you. Make sure you tune into that channel for your stock scanners. But yes, Benzinga Pro, I do like it. BCTX. Okay, watch this. Ready? Watch BCTX. Put your little freaking eyeballs on my screen, okay, so you guys can get this. Look at the screen on the left. Look at what's right here. $6.03. You have a +1 deviation mark. So that basically means BCTX is coming into resistance right now. And look at where you're at on the intraday. On the intraday, you're at +3. That's the blue line. So not only are you overbought intraday, but you're also coming into long-term resistance around $6. So if this is easy to borrow, which it's not, then I would consider being bearish and taking a short. But I can't, so I'm not. But nonetheless, you're probably going to see BCTX pull back in this zone. I was just looking at it to see if it was going to be a good short trade, something like that. But it doesn't look like we're going to really be able to do anything fun with that guy for the time being. So don't worry about it. Nope, Joffrey has nothing to do with YouTube. Again, this happens every single day, no matter what, YouTube or not. They're trash. Trade Zero, E-Trade, IB, never lag. Yes, that is true, David. Those are because those are interactive brokers. Yes, definitely, 100%. Interactive brokers that more or less their platform is all about execution and speed, whereas TD Ameritrade is less about execution and speed, but more on overall inclusive. So 100%. Again, max target BTBT was somewhere in the 13s for now. It can go higher, sure, but logically I can't really suggest anything more than a $13 target for the time being. We're at 1244. Very nice. It means BTBT is getting close to my price target for shorting. Well, it might not be the best short, but yeah, right now our target on BTBT was up to 1312. Of course, you can't short BTBT anymore. That's really annoying. So anyways, yeah, BTBT, I think you're going to see a $13 target on that overall. But that's annoying. They're not going to allow us to bet bearish that. So look at BCTX. BCTX just got up into the price targets that we suggested it was going to go to. Ideally, this is where we would suggest that a red candle and a pullback's probably going to occur unless you're really, really lucky. But yeah, BTBT slightly over 13 for your target on the day. If you could short it, which you can't, 13 would probably be a good area to consider that. Yeah, no matter what, you're absolutely right about Thinkorswim running slow in relation to, yeah, the scripts and everything and making it run slow. You're right about that. Look at BCTX. BCTX seeing a little bit of selling action as it's gotten up into that 602 price, as we mentioned. All right, and now you got BTBT, ladies and gentlemen, pulling back, and it's at 1244, but it's still not at 13. If you're willing to put the risk on the table for the biscuits, you could try to get it up to 13 bucks. Oh yeah, I mean, again, I run a lot of custom scripts that have a lot of coding behind them. So my platform just generally runs slow with all the things that I'm usually running on it. Yeah. Your price target for BCTX was $6 pretty much. So we've already hit the price target. So really, I'm just showing you that if you're looking at BCTX or in BCTX, this is your location to consider selling and or that the price target's probably been met for the day. But more or less just trying to teach you guys proper, correct technical analysis in real time. Let's see what's going on with AM McSizzle today. Would anybody care to give a round of applause for Connor regarding AMC? Does anybody remember what we said about AMC this morning? Anybody? Does anybody care to share it with Matt Kors? or trade trades. I mean, if they literally want to know exactly probably what's going to happen to the stock every day, all they got to do is tune in. That's all you got to do. But yeah, so basically the recommendation today was to watch AMC up to the $34.60 price, and that was your target long, and then that would be your resistance. It went all the way up to $35.20, and then it sold down. So nonetheless, AMC has done everything that it was kind of supposed to do at least for today. So we're no longer going to make any recommendation and or prediction or something like that on AMC because the market has done what we anticipated it was supposed to do. Thanks for the applause. Thanks for the applause. I'll be here tomorrow, folks. I'll be here tomorrow. By the way, we are now open for enrollment for our one-to-one mentoring sessions. So if that is something that you are interested in, I know some people are, but if you're looking or interested into one-to-one, if you want to call it tutoring, I hate the word tutoring, it just doesn't sound good, but one-to-one tutoring / mentoring, coaching, if you may, that is now open for enrollment. That is something that I'll be probably doing on Fridays, at least for the time being. So that being said, I am going to post a little linker magoo. You guys can sign up for one-to-one mentoring if you would like to learn this a little bit more or be a little more hands-on with me. That's up to you. I'm only planning on doing it on Fridays. So if I have people scheduled for sessions on Friday mornings, I won't be streaming to YouTube. If there's nobody that signed up or my schedule is not full the morning of Friday, then I will still be streaming. So it depends on how those sessions get filled up. But anyways. So I just posted the link there, Mr. Nightbot, sign up for one-to-one mentoring. That link right there is what you're going to be looking to sign up for. Or following, sorry. BCTX still sitting up there. Figures. Pins still sitting, chopping around like a little McTurd. Yeah, I mean, kind of sad that I cut that trade on XELA so soon, but it is what it is. Nonetheless, yeah, XELA is still moving well. I think you could watch XELA more on like swing long than anything. There goes BTBT up to 1250. Again, recommended long price overall was $13. BYSI long. I am going to just hold off on that long because it just looks like a bunch of crazy assholes trading a stock trying to make money on volatility, and I'm good on that for now. Am I sure about BTBT? Yeah, what dickheads. What dickheads. Basically volatility. So many people buying a stock at the same time generally causes a volatility halt. Yeah, that's usually the case. It just has to do with a bunch of people all trying to buy something at the same time. wow. WHLR just basically got shit on. That's unfortunate because that would have been fun. Sava moving up. Yeah, maybe. Pins. Let's check out you. Haven't seen Hood in a while. What's going on with this guy? Oh, wow. Up to 85 and then just got absolutely trashed on. That's cool. Really? Damn it. Connor, you idiot. I didn't know there were shares to short on Hood, but if I did, I would have definitely took some bearish, but no point now. Alrighty, well, McBT is still grinding higher. Mine is 1 day, 1 minute. Not 2 day. Just 1 day, 1 mini. Tesla. What are you doing, bud? You know what? Just for shits and giggles, let's see what an option costs on BTBT with Robinhood. God damn it. I missed a phone call this morning from a Comcast technician, but I pray to gosh they followed the instruction, which was to call the tenants when you arrive, but I'm sure Comcast fucked that one up for the 8th time. No problem, I'll just have to call again. BTBT. Bit Digital. Cers headed towards a new high. Yeah, well, we'll just have to see about that. Cers. Yes, it is trying to head to a new high and break out the 640 price. Oh, by the way, what a call on Cers today, mentioning that as you break up through these prices, you should be targeting the $6.40. Another analysis. Spot on. 100% this morning. Don't know who else does it. Yeah, so Cers, again, I was only really targeting up to 640 on the day, so if it goes higher, awesome. I wasn't planning on it, but if it does, maybe it goes for another deviation and you see a $7 price today. I'll say 7's the max price that you can go for, but again, I didn't think it was going to go through 640 too much. Pins still looking okay. Yes, Pins still looks pretty much the exact same as it did this morning, which would be Pins is a long entry anywhere from pretty much the bottom of this to 52. So again, pretty much expecting we either go up to 53 to, or wait, sorry. I'm projecting we go to 63 to 66, or we sell all the way down to 51 and then we bounce. So the way that I am playing Pins is that I'm okay with it going to 63, 66, and I'm okay with it going all the way down to 51, because that is how I'm anticipating the markets will probably move. So with the way the market is currently situated, it is a long, but it can still go lower. And if it goes lower, then the next long will be off of 52. I really don't expect it goes too much lower through 52. I'd expect 52 is most likely going to be the bottom in the event this is not. Tesla's still looking okay this morning. That's good. BYSI on the scanner, so that means it's unhalted. But is it doing anything good? No, not really. Just a quick spike up and back down. They can go back as far as you chart on your history. So I'm just going to throw out the prediction for the all stock market crash. We'll see if I'm correct, and then maybe they'll make some like article about me in Bloomberg or like maybe Forbes one day or something. But my prediction for the all be all stock market end all crash exists when the market gets up to right now anywhere from talking about this ETF specifically, but when the SPY is up at 535 to 614, that's when I expect the all be all crash to happen. Or as the Nasdaq gets to the price or gets up to this 423. So pretty much as soon as the markets get up to +3 deviations on a 20-year chart, I think the all-be-all dooming crash is going to happen. So if in the event the SPY and the Nasdaq do end up going up to +3 deviations and then the be-all, doom-all crash ends up happening, I will leave it to you guys to make sure that I mentioned on Forbes, CNBC, and all the other mainstream media stock market channels, because I think I'd be deserving. So anyways, that's my prediction. Be-all, end-all crash happens at +3 to +4 deviation on the market. Is it going to happen? I have no fucking clue. But if it does get up that high, I would be very, very surprised that the market doesn't come down. So yeah, I'm just anticipating that would be a fantastic level for the market to sell off. So it's just a matter of us getting there. Have no idea, but when we do, there's no way you could convince me to be long the stock market at all. BTBT price target $13. CERS rejected right at 640 as mentioned. BTBT, it's at $12.95. They have options. I'm gonna buy something. What do I want to buy? So if it pulls back, but is it really gonna pull back at the mean? I mean, I gotta be dumb enough to try it, right? I mean, this thing is really strong, but there's gotta have at least be one pullback. So I want to buy a put, but I gotta make sure the put gets in the money if it does pull back. So the put would be a 1250 is not really logical. I mean, but it's really the only one. Yeah, well, I guess I'm just gonna buy one of those. So I did just buy one put option, a 1250 put on BTBT. It has the potential to retrace to 1250. It does. I was hoping that there was going to be something else. But anyways, it does have the potential to go to 1250, maybe in the money. But this is all on the idea that we are supposed to pull back on the day for BTBT at the mean. So if I show you this, yeah, sorry, getting over there now. I could be wrong about this, and the reason I say that is just because it's been a very, very strong stock all day. So it's like I'm trying to bet bearish against a very strong moving stock. But I was willing to give it an attempt because we are at the mean. Where is it at? It's on the daily chart. So we are at the daily chart mean, which is right there. You see that white line? So that's the reason I'm taking a bearish bet, anticipating that there's going to be an intraday pullback because of the mean. Now, if I'm wrong, that's completely cool. And if I am wrong, then the market is most likely going to go up to a price of $15 on this stock. So my next target will be $15 if we're truly breaking the mean, which so far we are breaking the mean pretty strong. So it looks like the $13 price. Well, I mean, we broke out so far, so basically, you know, if this is going to work, we need to start pulling back and coming back down below the $13 price, ideally. All right, there goes BTBT starting to pull back, as we mentioned. So we're down through 13. It's going to nearly be impossible to get this contract into the money, or not. Yeah, I mean, it'll be very impossible. This contract's not going to go into the money. Basically, we need a pullback on BTBT. Basically back down to the +4 deviation mark. If we do that, then the option trade I have will go profitable. But, you know, if we just basically do a pullback, come back up, resustain 13, then this option trade will be a loser in the immediate. So ideally, we need a full-on price rejection, sort of get a corrective move in the stock BTBT for the first time in the day. You can see all pullbacks have been bought up. None of them have corrected. But if in the event we actually get a correction move on BTBT here, which is what I was planning for, then the trade will make money. All right, so close the option trade on BTBT. It was a quick one, all out. Again, we finally got a corrective move on BTBT, almost bringing us down to about 1250. I wasn't so sure if we would fully go through 1250, but that's fine. So basically netted the smallest gain on that. And again, that's the way the market works. Market makers are assholes. They keep a spread a certain way, but sure enough, as mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, there is your $13 price target on the stock BTBT for the day, and you will see that it actually went to a high of $13.50. That's because it's a strong stock. Shorts have been squeezed all day, but nonetheless, the market on BTBT has successfully gone all the way back up on the day to its long-term statistical mean, which means this is where it's most likely going to see its resistance. That's why we took the put option short trade there. And that's it. We're not suggesting price targets higher than 13 for the time being. If I'm wrong, then I think it goes to 15, but I don't think we're going through 13 for the day. But if we do, 15. I mean, can I just... Is it possible for us to get the stream over 350 likes with a $13 call on BTBT? Like, was that good enough for 350 likes? I think so. I think we can. I think there's enough of you guys out there willing to give it a little tickle and get up to old 350. Where's my boy 50 Cent when you need to hit a 350? Probably selling vitamin water, making bank. What could BTBT drop to? Ooh, what a good question. So yeah, my projection for BTBT was just to play the drop down to the +4 deviation. If you remember specifically, I said I don't think it's going to go below 1250. 1250's here. We stopped here. So that's why I took my option trade off as soon as this candle went down, because I really didn't anticipate with how strong the market was that in the immediate the market was going to be breaking down the +4 deviation mark. It was too strong of a market, trending too strongly to the upside. I didn't think the corrective move would break 4 deviation. Which I kind of still don't think it's going to. But in the event it actually breaks down 4 deviations, which I don't think is going to happen, you would look for a pullback down to the price of $11.97. But something tells me this is going to go to 15. I don't know. It just keeps feeling a little strong. But anyways, if we do get like a full-on correction for the day, then I would expect you're going to see prices on BTBT down to $11.89. So you do run the risk of a pullback all the way to about $11.89. So again, I would not be buying the stock BTBT long bias at these prices currently. But I promise you, most of the stuff that we're doing on this stream and talking about, it is pure luck. Zero skill involved. Don't know what that is. Doesn't exist. It's not possible. Oh no, BTBT. Oh. Why? Well, there goes the 1250. So I was right and wrong. But let's see if it sells all the way down to the price target of 1201, which is our pullback support that we mentioned it can go down to. BYSI is now up to $28.62. You know what that means? Nothing. Nothing really that cool. But how shitty is it that we weren't able to short BTBT? I mean, we even said go to 13, sell it short, but then they don't have shares of short. So it's kind of annoying in the sense that it's like, yeah, there's a really good profitable trade on the day, but the market doesn't allow you to get involved. That whole barrier to entry thing, it really pisses me off. I hate how the market works like that, you know? When people ask if the market's manipulated, yes and no. It's not like directly manipulated, but it's totally manipulated, 100%. It's by design, right? Everything that happens in the market is, to a degree, by design. I think you might like McUber. Well, let's take a look at the old Boober Magoo. So it looks like Boober is going down. So this is something that I would not feel comfortable buying until it gets down to the price of $39.33. So that's for now. That could change. Give me just a tickle here. Yeah, so my suggestion for Uber is that we're bearish Uber until the price of Uber gets to $40.64. So pretty much what that means is you will most likely see Uber continue selling down negatively till it gets to about $40.64 and or to $39.28. So you pretty much have a long zone on Uber. So this means you're bearish Uber until prices get to $40.67 and or about $39.40-ish in that area. So bearish Uber, it's going to probably go down. Yeah, I still use light speed to short stocks. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So again, BTBT, what a little turd bag, huh? What a little McTurd bag. Let's go see what our other fellow streamers are doing here today. No. Trey's not online, but Matt Cors is. Yeah, we got 17,000 people on Mr. Crs right now, all looking at AM Mick Sizzle. Little do they know, all they had to do was tune in for about 25 minutes this morning, and all their questions would have been answered. But one day. Yes, a lot of people tell me I remind them of Jim Carrey. What's that one dude's name? Oh, Adam Sandler and Andy Samberg. Those are the three celebrities I remind people the most of. Jim Carrey, Adam Sandler, and Andy Samberg. Oh yeah, I just sent a message to Mr. Matt. He probably won't see it, but I asked him if he would invite me on to stream one morning. I wonder if he does. Hold on one second, guys.
Shout out Joel. Matt, remember there are probably accounts on here paid by hedge funds to start funding. Yeah, it very much does feel.
I'm commenting to Matt right now. I'm seeing if he'll accept me. I don't know if he's read my comment.
Someone's in here paid to support Hood. There's no one who identifies as an ape and identifies as a member of the AMC and GME cause that would also come in and be like, hey, I really like Hood. If you made money off of
I'm literally...
Okay, that's a completely different story.
I'm just asking. I wholeheartedly really want to get on his stream just so I can show the 17,000 people standard deviation. And then they would be able to look at AMC and be like, oh yeah, AMC's probably going to go up to this price and sell off, right? I mean, that's really all I'm trying to do is try and give him a helping hand here.
Free trading. And in the realm of free trading, they're arguably the shittiest one. So what's your point? Dude, I'm telling you, if you like Robinhood, go long on it. Let's see who's right.
I look like Batman. Christian Bale. Is AMD at its top or is there more to go? So we'll take a look at AMD here one second. I mean, he does raise a valid point. He says, if you like Robinhood, then buy it. If you don't like Robinhood, then don't buy it, which is a completely valid point. AMD is up to 121 this morning. Yeah, I would, I mean, I feel like an idiot for being like, oh, I wouldn't buy it because it's up so high. But, I mean, still my analysis still applies. I mean, I can't justify being long AMD in this current move anymore. Part of the reason it's up so high is because people keep shorting it, right? And that's another important thing I have to talk about. Remember this, right? This is where stocks typically sell down. I'm drawing a box there for you to understand that. So this gray box I just drew, that zone is typically where stocks sell down. The fact that it didn't sell down means short sellers are getting squeezed out, okay? In most scenarios, you would see AMD sell off in that location. Now is a time that it's just stronger than most, and it's just blowing out short sellers. So, again, the concept still applies. You're pretty much guaranteed a loss if you take ownership of AMD up here and get caught in its pullback. What I'm saying is AMD still does not have any support in its market until it gets down to the price of 112 to 105, which means when this momentumous move is done, its pullback will most likely be to 112 to 105 for right now. Tomorrow, that will be different. But that's what I mean, is your pullback location is still from 120 down to 112. So taking ownership now, that's something you have to be understanding of, that's what your risk is going to be.
About it, so maybe that's something people want to check out. But obviously, it's missed on its earnings. I believe they had slower than expected user growth. And with that being said, like, I'm not saying it's a long-term fundamental investment, but there's another decent odds for the gap.
So could you short AMD now to 112? Yeah, you can short AMD now. It could still go to $150 before it comes down. That's what I mean. That's another thing with squeezes. You never know exactly how far they're going to go, but it's not a question as to when they're overbought. Overbought for sure right now.
Nasdaq posted 6 days ago saying they are bullish on AMC earnings. It's likely to start seeing them down to limit the overall gains. I think people are just buying it and selling it at a lesser and lesser price. Like right now, the supply is outweighing the demand. One of the biggest issues, and you almost see this in the metrics on social media, is less and less people. Like we have that fourth quarter group, and we have that.
I'm sending Matt Cors a super chat. I'm sending him. He's getting $20 to see my comment. Damn it! If I do that, then I gotta make sure my comment's good. Shit. 1 second. All right, we're doing it. $20 super chat. Boom. Damn it. I gotta get my wallet. Son of a puppy. Son of a puppy. All right, 1 second, folks. I gotta get my wallet, you know. What a bummer. All right, so we will be right back. Sorry for the blank moments in stream there, but what we're doing is serious, serious shit, folks. Alrighty, I am back on here, folks. So, anyways, we have sent the super chat to Mr. Matt. We'll see if he gets it. I haven't heard anything back from him so far. We'll see. So it looks like AMC, I'm not doing so. Alright, gonna take a peek over here at this stock really quickly. Oh man, I'm just now looking at AMC and it's getting just absolutely mick. Alright, so yeah, AMC is not looking so good. Damn it, he shouted me out, but he didn't answer my question. Son of a puppy! Too funny. This is too much fun. I'm having a good time. Well, we tried, folks. We tried, but just not meant to be. Just not meant to be, folks. Yeah, I know it was dumb. There should have been a question attached to the super chat, but there wasn't, which I don't understand why. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you'll see the message in the comment. We'll have to come back to him another day. He's probably busy right now. AMC is getting absolutely just pounded to the ground. So he's got a lot on his mind today. I understand things might not be going so well. But anyways, we're just going to remain bearish AMC. We're going to give new updated price targets on AMC to $24. So essentially what we're saying is on a successful break of this low, when I say successful, that means you will see the market down at the price of $24.60. We will not be long bias the stock AMC indefinitely until it gets down to the price of $25. Or until it breaks back up above the price of basically 34. So it's either AMC back over 34 and long, or AMC continues being bearish all the way down to about 24 to 25, and then you're long for a reversal counter trend bounce. Hey, but at least he got 20 bucks. I think he probably needs it. Oh, so let's go take a peek back at BTBT. We're about towards the end of our stream, so I appreciate you guys tuning in with me every morning. Remember, we did have the suggestion your pullback on BTBT can go as far down as this red line. It looks like BTBT is rolling over and it might attempt to go down to its desired half deviation target. So just an FYI, if you're in BTBT, do be mindful it does still have a projected price that it can fall down to about $12. Yeah, it doesn't look like we're getting anything too crazy on scanners right now. I'm going to take this last little bit. We're going to pop on over to pins, see how it's doing. It's pretty much just sitting, chilling, not really doing a whole lot. XELA, haven't seen it since a little bit ago. XELA, 1 second. No, I mean, just XCLA is kind of the same thing as, earlier this morning. The low risk dip by entries were down here in the supports. We've bounced since then. So for now, there's really nothing more I'm looking to do with that for the time being. WHLR. That's interesting. Is it making a move? Or no, it's not. Not making any move. Just sold back down. So probably Good time to buy AMC for a long. Time to buy. Well, folks, I beg to differ. I think it's a great time to be bearish AMC unless the price goes back over about 34 or until it gets down to 25. So, Mr. Lawrence, I give you a rebuttal. You either want to be long back over 34 or long down at 20 McFi. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this hits the 11 a.m. mark. Today, it says that we had 4,605 playbacks on the stream. I believe yesterday we were only at 4,000. So that means there was an improvement from yesterday. But I do believe that yesterday's stream got over 400 likes. So if we can get this one over 400 likes, then we've improved on the likes. So I'll leave it up to you guys. I appreciate you tuning in for the stream. I will be back on tomorrow morning. Depending on how my schedule books up for one-to-one mentoring on Friday, we may or may not be on Friday. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. With that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Take care.